Alright. Well, looks like I'm going to be playing Donkey Kong Country 2, any percent. I see a lot of people are very interested in the run, which makes me excited. So. Alright. I believe I'm ready to just say 3, 2, 1, go. So. Yeah, no, this is a pretty easy run. It's just straight through, play every level, few warps within the game, and it's very intense, not too many breaks, so hopefully everyone enjoys. I'm going to count down, so 3, 2, 1, go. And now we're starting off in World 1, and great, the first level is great to show off pretty much the entire game. You just roll and do more rolling. That is pretty much sums up the entirety of the Donkey Kong Country series, just a lot of rolling. So we're into 1-2 now, and this is where we first see the entry of a wrong warp. And all it is just a beetle clash. And you're moving around the enemy IDs, which allows you to move the sprite of the barrel. It does not know where to place you, so you just go outside of the stage. So, yeah. And all of World 1 and 2 are pretty much just warps. Other than that, this is known as Lockjaw because this trick is complete luck, as you can see. What you would want to do is just jump into that barrel from there. But I didn't get it. Only loses like 2 seconds, so it's not that bad. Now, on the second wrong warp, not a lot of people do this. It's one of the harder wrong warps. And we got it. Now, Crow is one of the first instances of RNG, and no one likes him. He can give you real eggs and fake eggs in any way he feels like it, and it's not very fun. So hopefully we'll get not very many fakes, but Crow might decide differently, which is what we are getting. That's not too bad. That is real. I just missed it. There we go. And that's World 1 done. Now, World 2, it's pretty much the same as World 1. Wrong warp. There's a wrong warp in this stage, and all the others are just normal warps. Just for swag, I must get the 2-1 jump. That is a double frame perfect trick, I believe. So, have to do that just for swag. Now this is what is called a big boy. You basically jump after throwing Dixie at an enemy, or Diddy, works for both. But yeah, and then you get an extra jump. And yeah, just more and more warps. Yeah, the beginning of the game is not the greatest, but I swear it does pick up. Just fly over here, and guess what? It's another warp. Wow. it's almost ready to speedrun the game. We're almost there. There we go. And that's the first instance of a quick shot in the game. It's a 3-frame window where basically you just kind of shoot at the, basically as soon as you get into the barrel. There's a stage later on in the game where you'll see them used a lot more. Now this is Cleaver. Technically he has RNG, but it's just cannonball RNG and it doesn't really lose or gain much time. And here's an interesting trick that can lose like 4 minutes if I fuck it up, and it doesn't gain that much time if you do it. You gotta fly over there. Hopefully I got it. So you can spawn these hooks. If you don't fly over, the hooks just don't spawn. But yeah. Now, hopefully I can do this. Flying Diddy for the fans. Because it's a marathon run and it's all about swag. Now it's the real speedrun. If you notice, there's a big trend of using Diddy. Because Diddy is just better. He's faster. It's pretty much, and he's like that in the first one too, because every Donkey Kong runner knows, if you're Donkey, you're dead. I just wanted to say that. Yet now with World 3, you don't warp anymore. So a lot of the platforming is very difficult, I find. But it's not too terrible yet. And here's a trick. It's pretty much like Lava Fly, but instead you do a different setup where when I threw Dixie into a barrel earlier, it set that super jump up. And it just gives you immense height for some reason. Now, this is the first water level in the game. And the only real time save is just don't bump into corners, try to avoid them as much as you can, and go as close as you can to them. Trying to focus here because they can lose a decent amount of time, and it doesn't even seem like it, so. Now, at the end here, if I get it, there's a way that the first puffer that you will see in this next section won't actually explode, and it just is used to reduce the lag. Also, I think that has happened before. It's called a goal swap, and you just swap on the goalpost, and it just kind of saves frames because there's no real animation. And I died there. That was a weird death because I was, trying to do safe, and I just kind of messed it up. But at least it's early on, so it won't lose much time. There we go. Now, this is another wrong warp. It's a different way to get it. Just kind of throw Dixie at the sword, and you just warp out of there. Because, yeah. It's pretty much how every trick is in this game. It's just the best way to explain is because it works. Now this is the first introduction, well, no, second actually, but it's the big introduction of Rattly. And it's one of the harder stages in the game because his hitbox is actually top tier trash. So sometimes when it doesn't look like you should be hit, you just will. But hopefully, yeah. Hopefully I will be able to get through the stage. It's very easy to die here. That was great. There we go. Now I'm gonna go for something here. Probably won't work, but I'm gonna go for it. It's just a short hop. Yeah, no, I didn't get it. They'll be introduced with more, what's the word? Importance later, like a lot later, last world. But yeah, and time for another wrong warp, which, if missed, is pretty bad, but it's definitely, I would say, the easiest of the wrong warps. Just kind of climb up here. And you just want to jump. And look at that, out of there. Now, everyone, literally everywhere, knows this song. So I hope I can bring you back to your childhoods. And this was the stage that I was talking about earlier, that you really want to get a lot of quick shots. I am getting too many quick shots, apparently, because I'm hitting them too early. And there we go. So what you want to do right here is just a little damage boost. So you can just kind of go through that beat. Now, coming up is one of the harder tricks. It's called Vine Clip. We'll see if we can get it. No, I missed it, so we have to go for the backup of Dave Clip, named after DKC2 runner, just your average Dave. No, it doesn't lose too much time, so... Now, this is Cudgel, and there's a little bit of tech, doesn't really save too much time, but I'm gonna go for it, and they're Cudgel quick hits. And basically, I'm just counting the hair oscillations of Dixie's hair, so I might stop talking just to count, like you see there, and it just saves like a few frames so you don't have to like throw the TNT barrel at Cudgel. If he destroys one of the TNT barrels, it loses like 10 seconds, so it's pretty annoying. It's a very slow boss fight. It's very invigorating, like all the bosses in this game. There we go. And that is World 3 done. Now, going to World 4, the random theme park, I would say this is probably one of the hardest worlds. And right here I'm going for Diddy Hornet. It's just, it saves like a few seconds maybe. But it's a lot harder due to this right here, which is like a 2-frame window or a 3-frame window. jumping through those bees. So it is fun. Now coming up is a trick called Scrolly Scroll, and it's just basically Hook and Squitter don't really react well, and it just kind of makes the screen scroll really quickly, and that saves 2 seconds over the optimal natural route. And climb up the honey and goal swap. Now, time for the first roller coaster level. They're the same as any minecart level and auto scroller, pretty boring. So, at least you get to look at the pretty theme park in the back. That's about it with these levels. They're not very hard. There's a swag strat at the end of this that I'm gonna be doing, because if you don't, the run is not valid, no matter what. So, even if I get hurt doing it, it will be worth it. Yeah. This is the only roller coaster level, I believe, that you can't make the whole minecart jump, because it makes it so you can't speed it up at all. On the ones where you can jump and save like a few frames. And yeah, no, pretty boring levels. And I did take damage, but I got the balloon, so that's all that really matters. And just because, there's a spare DK barrel back there. Now, Bramble Scramble has one of the most time-saving wrong warps, and also one of the hardest wrong warps. And I failed it right there, which is annoying. So let's try that again. Take number 2. There we go. This should work. Okay, never mind. Sometimes it just doesn't work. This is going well. Believe it or not, I'm still probably saving time over going through this stage normally. So. There we go. See? Did the exact same thing. But yeah, finally we're out of there. And for the biggest secret in the entire game, this boost barrel. Now, in this stage, you can get minor time save by jumping down slopes. That's about it for these, is just jump down as many slopes as you can. And it's another boring minecart level, so nothing really happens. And there we go. Now, Mudhole is one of the harder levels. It has a wrong warp, and it has some of the hardest platforming in the entire game. So I will try to make it through first try, but no guarantees. We're coming up to the Eagle Pit. And surprisingly, did that first try. Grab the halfway barrel. Usually you roll under it, but since it's the marathon, so. And there we go. Now there's a trick coming up that not a lot of people do. It's pretty hard, does not save that much time, but it's called Via Boy. And we got it. And that hook should have loaded another super jump. I kind of messed it up, but I did load it. I should have grabbed the halfway. I should have grabbed the halfway barrel there. It shouldn't really matter, I'm not doing the hard strat. So I shouldn't die. And you can see a tiny glimpse of the boss that we will be going up against in the next level. And time for King Zing. The one lesson I want you guys to take from this game is to never, ever sleep on the king. Because you can easily mess this boss up. And it doesn't really seem like it. And that was actually a really good King Zing. So on to World 5. This is probably what everyone will say is the hardest world. There is no RTA viable wrong warps in this world, but we have found a few. They're just either don't save time or don't save enough time to go for, and it's a good start to World 5. Great start. Fall right off the edge. Let's try this again. Instead of doing what I did there, I'm just gonna jump over that. So I don't make the same mistake. You want to grab the bottom of those ropes there, again, just to save frames, because that's all that matters in this game, is just tiny time save with frames. And you want to just kind of roll under him. You can despawn him, but where's the fun in that? Now, for a very, very exhilarating stage, Another minecart stage. This is probably the best minecart stage because there's actually a little bit more speed tech. It's just really jumping up hills and making sure to jump through those doors. Hitboxes of bees with this cart are also bad, so you can definitely mess up easy. Yeah, no. These get very boring after you've done them like a million times. I haven't said that these are boring enough. This bee right here, I think it's that one or this one, does not actually exist in the American version of this game. It's weird. A lot of the Donkey games, for some reason, in version differences, they just move around bees. I don't know why. Okay, time for Gusty Glade. Has a very interesting mechanic with wind. Now this stage, actually, we won't be doing it. It has a RTA viable wrong warp, kind of. It's definitely a lot harder than even like the Bramble Scramble wrong warp. So we don't really go for it. It doesn't save like enough time to warrant it, but it is possible. Grab the halfway. You can do, if you time that right, you can do a little roll off that ledge. It's like, probably, like everything else in this game, don't quote me, a 3-frame window. And there we go. That goal swap is probably the hardest one in the game. Now, time for one of the most fun stages, in my opinion. It's PCP. Basically, you're supposed to take the purple parrots, or quacks, all the way down, but we don't have time for that. So, we just kind of skip them. You never want to grab that parrot, especially that parrot. And I messed up there, but it's fine, you can just do that instead. Loses a little bit of time, but that's the safe strat, actually. Now, if you're lucky, which I am, you get the bonk off that ledge, and then you can just kind of fall down there. That went surprisingly well. Now for another extremely hard stage, just like that last one, because why not put 2 in a row? That could have been bad, but we're good. And now we have Shoes the Spider. Can be your best friend or your worst enemy. I'm gonna try to focus here because, like I said, very hard stage. So I kind of messed that up. So we're just going to take this safe because I don't trust myself. to try to come up with an easy... Alrighty then. That, not really good. So we're gonna come with up with something on the fly. Yeah, this is definitely not how I wanted to do this, but we made it somehow. There you go. Bad ending, but overall, not too bad. And for the plot twist of the century, Crow is back. And, of course, he brought RNG with him. So, his RNG is the barrel can spawn on either the left, right, or middle. And basically you want mostly right spawn, except that first one, which you do want middle. And which I did get there. So that was good RNG right there. So now I want the next 2 barrels to spawn on the right side. Well, that's great. Middle, not too bad. I did not want to take damage there, so... Alright, well, that loses a decent amount of time. But should be fine. That stage... Climbing ropes with Dixie, not as good as with Diddy. But we should be able to do it this time. See what he gives me. He feels sorry for me, so he gave me middle. My ropes, not very good. But... oh, I made it through. Okay, oh my fucking... sorry about that. Wow. Okay, Crow does not like me today. At all. He gave me bad RNG and now he's killed me twice. Sorry about this, guys. There we go. There we go. Now, this should be over. Unless I am terrible again. And you always want to be Dixie at the end of boss fights, just because her animation with the guitar is faster than Diddy's boombox. Now, I like to refer to this as the final gauntlet of the run, because every stage is insanely hard for its own reasons. Hopefully I should be able to do this. But yeah, there's a few wrong warps. Basically every trick is utilized here. Okay, well that's not a good start, but it turned out fine. There we go. Okay. So that really sucks, actually. That loses a decent amount of time. You want to have 2 Kongs coming out of this stage, or I'm just gonna die. That works too. Honestly, a little bit better, so I can show off a trick off in the second stage of World 6. So honestly, it's kind of better that I died. Let's go with that. That's why I did it. Let's just say that's why I died. Okay, that starfish does not want me to show it off. Now you want to do that, go under the water, because if you don't and you hit that, it will set off the goal swap animation. And I'm coming in here just because I do want to show the trick off. So, starting off here, we're going to do a trick called Diddy Windy. Which is just a little transition skip. And we got it. Now we can skip these crooks, and what we're going to do here is jump, break that open, and if you take damage on this bee, you get a pretty decent skip through this stage as well. Now there would be a trick up here called Ghetto Bee Skip. I don't think I'm going to do it because I would like to keep 2 Kongs coming out of this stage. Because you need 2 Kongs to do the wrong warp in the next stage. There we go. Now, Castle Crush is like the longest auto-scroller in the entire game by far. Basically, you just rise up on this platform. Now, you would be going through this entire castle that's very, very long and no one really wants to see. So instead of that, we'll spawn that cutlass, go into this Ramby barrel, and we're out of here. So, easy. Now this is like a little interesting stage. It's a nice break in between all the hecticness of World 6. There's one trick that's pretty interesting in this stage. Which is coming up here. And it's called Throw Your Girlfriend. You pretty much just throw your girlfriend and you get the invincibility barrel. And that is it. That is the entire trick. That went pretty well. Now, for the next wrong warp in this world. This wrong warp can be very finicky, so I hopefully can get it. If not, it's pretty easy to try again. You don't have to die or anything, so. And I got it. So, that's good. Now, for the hardest stage in this game, basically when I mentioned earlier there was short hops, this entire stage is made up, well, the entire snake part of this stage is made up of them. And it can be pretty difficult, but it looks like I got through it pretty easy. And now, for the parrot part. Now this part is pretty, like, easy, especially compared to the snake part. Just want to skip through there. Now, usually you can take a damage boost earlier. I prefer to take the damage boost right there. There we go. You can skip a few of those bees, but like, eh. So, there we go. Now, for the hardest boss in the entire game. It is Donkey Kong on a rope. Just kidding. Just gives you the coin. It's a pretty small cutscene. And now we're in the 7th world. I'm gonna go for a trick that I probably shouldn't go for. But it's right at the beginning of the stage, so I won't lose much time if I fuck it up once. There we go. That is a very hard trick. You don't have much room to go through there. So. Now, sorry to everyone, if I get this trick... Oh no, I didn't. So you guys get to enjoy some sick music. Which is fine. Doesn't lose much time. You can skip that. But no point, I guess, for music. I got the B skip. So that overall, except the missed race skip, was actually a very good stage. And if I did that right, I can skip that as well. I barely won the race there. So, luckily he didn't destroy me. And now K. Rool. This boss is jump over K. Rool and throw cannonballs at him. That's it. That's all you do. You have to do it like 9 times, I think. And the only thing you really want to do is just throw the cannonball as soon as you can, also known as dustless, because the dust that you can see. There we go. And it's over. Look at that. Over. And he gets back up. Oh no. Who could have guessed? Yeah, no. This is a very boring boss fight, in my opinion. Especially for the last boss. But yeah. At least there will be some swag. There is some swag in this run that is coming up very soon. And I'm sure we have them this time. Saying that, right? Oh, no. Now, for swag. Blue Diddy. Diddy is now blue. That's it. That was a really good throw, actually. 0 dust. And now, after this will be the final hit, and time will be on when the coin drops on me. Well, I am now purple. That's not really that great, but you know what? Who cares? I'm purple now. All that really does is reverses your controls, so it is kind of annoying. But It's not that bad. I should be able to get through it. Let's just say I did it for swag. Yeah, that is why. There we go. Didn't want to take damage there, but it doesn't really matter. There we go. And yeah, it would time it just when the coin hits me. And that is time. Well, that was the entirety of Donkey Kong Country 2. I hope everyone enjoyed the run and learned a little something. So, let's just watch him get eaten by sharks to never return, because we want to pretend that the third game didn't exist. So, yeah. I hope everyone enjoyed while Cranky yells at me. So, yeah. There was a few deaths that I didn't really want to happen there, but that's, with this game, can't really, this game decides if you die. It's not really your choice.
Perfect. Well, thank you very, very much for that run.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun to watch. Always love the music of Donkey Kong Country 2.
Definitely the best.